Anybody who knows Karen knows that what is about to happen today is completely off the cuff. Well, that isn't true. It's completely planned by our friend Karen. All the details of today, including who was to speak, who was to sing, what the songs would be, were given to us well in advance. And that is our friend Karen. We'll begin by having a eulogy from Principal Ken Young, principal of the high school. We'll be followed by Ruby Arnold, who will sing 2 songs, Amazing Grace, and forgive me if I get this wrong because it's Hawaiian, Kanaka Waiawai. Ruby first met Karen many years ago when Ruby was a young missionary here in Vancouver. And a strong connection developed between Dave, Karen, and Ruby. So Ruby will be performing here today. In error, I didn't introduce myself. I am Eugene Marks. I've known Karen for 26 years since I've been in the school district. I've worked with her as a colleague. I've worked with her in a spiritual capacity as well. He asked that I conduct the services. Ken, and then me.
So as we already stated, Karen was a very organized person, even to the point of writing her own eulogy and planning most of this service. I'll be sharing only what Karen wrote and not adding anything else, because I know Karen would not like that. Karen Joan Leslie, wife, mother, Nan, sister, daughter, teacher, and friend to many. Karen was born 64 years ago, May 16, 1950, in Prince George. The second eldest of 5 children, to Ron and Daphne Manning. Karen graduated high school in Kamloops in 1969 and went on to fulfill her dream of becoming a teacher after completing her studies at the University of Victoria. As a child, Karen spent a great deal of time playing school with siblings and singing on those long car trips to the lake. Karen's formal teaching career started in Vancouver in 1971, although her brother Cliff has memories of her as a teacher in grade 5 during a practicum in Kamloops. Karen arrived in Vancouver prepared to stay a year, and all that changed once she met David Leslie, her landlady's son. That 1-year position evolved into a 33-year career. Karen was an ambitious, lifelong learner herself, and after having worked for 5 years for Bill McLeod, at the elementary school across the street, she went on to work at NBSS teaching the hard of hearing and deaf, as well as life skills for the latter half of her profession. Karen was inspired in her teaching career by colleagues, many colleagues, These are her words. Bill McLeod, my first principal, and Bill McLeod, my first principal, and how he believed in kids' ability to learn. Gary Blattman, who always had faith in my abilities even when I didn't. Charlene Sagan, for her belief in me. Barbie Goff, who taught me that paperwork really wasn't that important. And Jean McGregor, who taught me patience. There were so many people who made a difference in my life. Karen said that she felt truly blessed in her lifetime to have such a strong, loving family and an amazing network of friends. Love, she says, is patient. Love is kind. And she knew that it was through the strength and love of those around her that carried her through so many trying times. Karen stated that she hoped that she was the best wife to her darling soulmate, David Andrew. She also said that her most precious gift was her family, and she believed that her daughters, Kara Michelle and Victoria again were her most significant accomplishments in life. She adored being Nana to Taylor Grace and Cameron Archie and was known to enjoy a few sleepovers and tea parties together. When asked what her greatest inspirations in her life were, she said her parents. They did the best they could with what they had. Through her childhood and later on in her life, Karen enjoyed camping, some of her fondest childhood memories, and those of the rest of her family were the gatherings that were held out at the lake. Karen was the little sister to Eleanor and the big sister to Rhonda, Cliff, and Pam. She loved family gatherings and always made an effort to stay connected, not only with her siblings, but also her many nieces and nephews. Karen was kind, loving, and had a generous spirit. Karen spoke fondly of the Yayas and her wonderful circle of friends that enjoyed many adventures and happy times together. They were her family sisters and also those who supported her through difficult periods as well. Karen and David took up the practice of meditation and Reiki in their retirement. There are many people to be thanked for their loving care and support of Karen and her family during these difficult times. The selfless vigil that her friends held not only at her bedside that last month, but the many meals, prayers, Reiki sessions that were done over the years, the superb medical care that Karen received at our local hospital, and the tireless efforts of her many doctors and nurses. For this, her family is truly grateful. Thank you, Karen.
How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious death that grace appeared, the hour I first believed. The Lord hath promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no last days to sing God's praise than we first begun. Karen loved Hawaii, so Nami has asked that I sing this next song in Hawaii, which is called Nakawai Vai. Accompanying me and the ukulele will be Elder Holden. Nakawai Vai means, let me walk through paradise with you, Lord.
Turn the mic down. walk through paradise with you, Lord. Take my hand and lead me there. All my earthly treasure I will gladly give. Teach me how to love and how to share. I will put my trust and all in thee, Lord. I know that thy love's divine. On my knees I pray that I will find the way. Let me walk through paradise with you in your way. Oh, my Lord, my Savior, lead me down the long and lonely road. Faith, hope, and trust, and charity divine. Let me walk through paradise with you, Yahweh, Yahweh, Elohim, Nikol Let me walk through paradise with you.
Tell me about her brother, who at that time lived in Burns Lake, and the rest of her family members. And it was my privilege the other evening to finally meet Cliff as we were speaking about the funeral. Cliff pointed out that he was Karen's favorite brother. Well, anybody knows Karen knows that he's her only brother. And so Karen has asked that Cliff would read the 23rd Psalm and say a few words if he feels appropriate. Following Cliff, it will be our privilege to hear a song from the Apple Chorus, Precious Lord, Take My Hand. That will be followed by Thea Doyle and friends, who will be singing How Great Thou Art. Be prepared, they may ask you to join in. Then Thea and her friends will sing Country Roads. And our final number will be You Are My Sunshine by Jeannie McGregor.
Well, thanks for everyone being here today for Karen's time to think about your sister, friend. 23rd Psalm. For some of my family members, it's not the 23rd Palm. Sorry, family joke. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Thank you. All a few words of the sister. Well, there's a few more of them here, and they're all similar. And I'm sure if you get to know them, you'll find out they're anyway, they're all sisters. And
Precious Lord, take my hand.
Before I make just a few concluding remarks, the family was asked that I make special thanks and recognition of the following individuals. The staff of NVSS, in particular, the staff, the nurses and the doctors, and all those who gave her wonderful care at the Omnica Medical Clinic. The fire department, for all that they've done through the years, and in particular, in helping the family this week. Also, Mary Mueller and Shauna Johnson and the LDS Women's Relief Society for providing the tea, which will take place following this ceremony at 6:30. Following my remarks, the family will leave and will go to the graveside for a short service, and then we'll return to be with you. And they ask that as many as you can stay to spend time with them. This service has been, I think, very fitting for our friend Karen. Karen loved music. She loved God. And she showed her love to God in many different ways. But it was in music that she found great joy. Karen wasn't a lady who liked to toot her own horn. She wasn't big on words. She was big on doing. She was big on being. And I hope that you got the sense of who Karen was by listening carefully to the words that were spoken in the music today. Some of you may not know, but there were people that sang today that traveled many, many miles to be here. They no longer live in Vanderbilt, but they loved Karen enough and her family to be here to share those words that Karen would want to say if she were here. As I think about Karen and about the example that she set for me, I think of a question that was asked of Jesus Christ when he was asked what manner of men ought we to be. And the answer was to be like God. In the book of John, 1 John, 4th chapter, We read, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. And everyone that loveth is born of God, and knoweth God. He that loveth not, knoweth not God." And here I think is one of the most important lines that we can ever remember. For God is love. Karen lived those words. Karen was love. Everything that Karen did was about love. It was motivated by the love that she had for her family, for the people that she worked with, for the children that she served in her career, for her community. Doctors have a creed that says, "Do no harm." I think Karen's creed was just do good. Karen wasn't motivated by praise. She wasn't motivated by money. She wasn't motivated by the world. She was motivated by making life better for others around her. She wanted her husband's life to be the very best that it could be. When I visited her last in the hospital, that was her concern, was for her dear Dave. Karen loved her daughters, loved her grandchildren. And as I have watched these wonderful people, I know that they carry the legacy of Karen in their lives. That they too are motivated by love. Love for each other. Love for our community. I know this is a difficult time. Dave, our heart breaks for you and for your family. We love Karen. But we know that the love that you have and have for your wife is much deeper than we can ever imagine. I want you to know, Dave, that this is not the end. Karen knew it was not the end. Karen had a deep and abiding faith that this life was not an end. That she would rise again because of the Savior Jesus Christ. And that she could be with her family again. The last times I spoke with Karen, one of the things that we talked about was that because of the faith that she demonstrated, I had the feeling that other people's faith would increase as well. And I think we have seen that. I think that we have seen people look to Karen and the way that she dealt with the difficulties that she faced in her life, and Karen would get after me for calling them difficulties. Karen would say it's just a journey. And Karen faced her journey with dignity, with pride. Did she get mad at times? Absolutely. Was she frustrated at times? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, Karen found joy in the journey. Karen had love in this life. Karen's family has known God because they have experienced Karen's love in their life. When I again think of those words that the Savior Jesus Christ said, "What manner of men ought we to be like God?" Jesus Christ was extremely selfless. I think that's a pretty big understatement. As I look at the pattern of Karen's life, I see a selfless life. You think of the career that Karen had. Karen was a teacher. Karen became a teacher in days where teachers didn't make a whole lot of money. Karen didn't choose jobs in education where she was in a flashy, glitzy job. Karen worked quietly behind the scenes with people who needed her help. She needed to be there so that people could have the words spoken to them that they could not hear. She later worked with our special needs students. And I can tell you that as a school administrator, that was the most happening place in this building. Everyone wanted to be in that room. Karen took those students and elevated from a place where in some schools they might be tucked in the back corner to being in the front hall where they were completely integrated in our school. because they were important, because they were valued, because they added value to our school. Imagine as I look around this room, there are many young people who had their lives impacted by Karen, who perhaps before they met Karen didn't think they were much valued, that maybe they couldn't learn. But because Karen believed in them, they began to believe in themselves. Karen had that way about her. When you were in Karen's presence, you felt special. You felt like you were important to her. Never once did I feel like I was a burden to be in Karen's presence and that she wanted to be somewhere else. Well, friends, if we truly want to honor Karen, it's been said that emulation is the most sincere form of flattery. May we emulate the life that Karen lived. May we find joy in the journey that we're on, whatever that journey may be. May we reach out in love in our community. There's enough hatred in the world. There's enough disharmony in the world. May we find ways of building bridges where there were no bridges. May we find ways of building peace where there was no peace. May all who come into our presence leave feeling better than when they first arrived. Dave, thank you for this opportunity to give voice for some of the thoughts that I know that Karen has had in her life. Again, I reiterate, she loves you and is waiting for you, and your family will be together again. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That brings to a close this session. As I indicated, the family will be leaving. We'll be listening to one more song, I Want to Be Free. Please, you're free to stay and join us for the tea at 6:30. And the family will be coming. Thank you.